So it's my opportunity to introduce our guest speaker. So I got to preface with John woke up just in time for this. He came in after working a shift. He came in at 8 a.m. to my understanding, and woke up after a couple of hours sleep to join us. So John's professional credentials. John is a hospice nurse of 20 years that just went to psych work with kids, working with kids. He's a level 2 Reiki and founder of Unity, a journey of hope, granting wishes and changing lives one wish at a time. Bobbi is a co-founder of Unity. She's a level 2 Reiki, a medium certified by Lisa Williams and James Van Prague, and a proud part-time resident of Lilydale. And COVID's kind of hit. We haven't really run into them while they've been here because we keep missing each other. But ladies and gentlemen, I give you John and Bobbi Robinson. Please unmute yourself there, John.
How's that? Can you hear me well enough?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. May you all be blessed. As Randy had alluded to, I have 20 years plus experience as a hospice nurse. And along the way, I've been blessed to be able to write a book about a loved one's journey with their loved one as they passed. And there is a page on here which coincides with my message today, which I do not remember writing. When the book came published, I saw this and I said, Bobbi, I don't remember where these words came from. And I can guarantee you these words were channeled and they were spiritually divined, sent to me. And I would like to read this page to you all, and it coincides with my message of unconditional love for today. The title of the page is Thank You and I Love You. What more can I say or do? You have been with me through good times and bad, sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, your love has never failed me. This journey we have embarked on is about to end. You have made me the proudest person I can be. You held my hand when I needed support. You wiped my tears when I needed understanding. You listened to me cry when I asked God why. You wiped my brow when I was sick. You comforted me with a much needed hug. You shared a smile when all seemed lost. When things were bad, you kissed me on my cheek and I felt special. You made me realize how lucky I am. You watched me change and never once made me feel different. Through all my pain and sorrow, you are my rock, my solid foundation of unquestionable love and acceptance. As others saw me differently, you saw me as me. You have made my life complete. I will love you forever with all my heart. And thank you for walking with me hand in hand, side by side, tear for tear on my journey home. Like I said, I have no idea where those words come from. And like I said, it was just from spirit. Now, that's just a definition, one definition of unconditional love that I found. But for each of us, we all have our own definition of unconditional love. But in a roundabout way, the meanings are all the same. I kind of compare it to when I make a lasagna and when Bobbi makes a lasagna. We both do it differently, but at the end, lasagna is lasagna. So unconditional love, no matter how we think of it, it's all the same. But let's start with a few definitions of unconditional love. Famous psychologist Carl Rogers defines unconditional love as a human, in order to grow, needs an environment with genuineness, authenticity, openness, self-disclosure, and acceptance. These behaviors are what we need as people in order to give and obtain unconditional love. From a different spectrum, gospel singer Yolanda Adams, she defines unconditional love as anyone can love when things are all right, but it takes courage to love when things are not so good and does not feel so right. There was a Holocaust survivor. His name was Viktor Frankl. He stated, unconditional love is a means by which we enable and reach our human potential. So let me ask you, is unconditional love given or is unconditional love received? Is it only in your heart or soul or mind? In keeping on the definitions, in the last 2 weeks at work, I presently work at the West Virginia University Neuroscience Behavior Unit, like Randy alluded to, with adolescents and also with intensive care, people who come in that are psychotic, that are paranoid due to various conditions. And I asked patients and I asked staff what they thought unconditional love is. And it kind of, like I said, it's the same, but as you go through the years of the people who I asked, they're a little bit different. A 20-year-old patient said, conditional love is no matter what a person does to you, you still care about them. A 20-year-old mental health specialist said that it is selfless and it's romance. A 30-year-old RN said that it's loving and caring, but not expecting anything in return. There was a 40-year-old who said love, unconditional love, is what we receive with no strings attached, irregardless of personal flaws. And a 50-year-old RN told me, doing all you can for somebody to decrease their stress in order to find happiness, or so they may be happy.
What did you say?
See, everyone, expression and definition is different, but the end goals are basically the same. Now, I want to share a story with you, an example about a couple and their endless love and their unconditional love. And I pray to God that in my life that I can emulate this unconditional love. My wife, Bobbi, had a close friend. Her name was Cindy. And Cindy, about 2.5 years ago, was diagnosed with advanced cancer. Initially, she was given the options of, you have to have chemotherapy right now, or you can go home on hospice and live the rest of your limited days on hospice. Well, you know what? Cindy decided she was going to go and live her life on her means. So she decided to go the naturopathic route. And her husband, Mark, supported her 100%. Now, I don't know if he 100% agreed with the path that she took, because people think that chemotherapy is probably the only cure that's available out there. But no matter what, he said, do what you have to do. So in the next 2 years, I witnessed what unconditional love is. You know, Cindy loved to explore local areas here in Fayette County, Pennsylvania, all the historic places, venues, like Ohio Pile, stuff like that, natural beautifications, all that stuff. And for the next 2 years, every time Mark would come home, he was a construction worker, and she'd say, Mark, let's go to Falling Water. He'd get in the car and he'd take him or take her there every night. They'd be riding around the streets of Connellsville, of Vanderbilt, and they would share these places because that's what Cindy wanted to do. It's not what he wanted, I'm sure he did construction. There were days, I'm sure, he probably didn't feel like doing anything but sitting down, have supper, and falling asleep. Because I know that's what I feel like when I come home from work or whatever, you know? So it's the same thing. But he never said no. He never said, honey, I don't feel like it. I don't have time for this tonight. He made time for her. He did this for 2 years. There were videos that Cindy would send of them two playing the OJs or some like 1950s music. They'd have their tambourine. They'd be dancing and clapping and singing and happy, even though she was dying. They still had such love for each other, and they expressed it in ways that, I hate to say it, that I never show my wife. You know, we don't dance. We don't do that stuff, but it's just simplicity. And that's all Cindy wanted in her life. And that's what Mark gave her. And that, to me, is unconditional love. He did it, never missing an outing, never missing to give of himself freely. You know, there were times when they just created memories that we don't create. They shared a love, and that love grew stronger as her time shortened. He gave of himself freely and unselfishly for her. He loved Cindy unconditionally. And I got to ask myself, and I got to ask anybody else in this room, would you do that?
What about the sign that morning?
It's just one of those things, you know. All I can say is, as I think back on Cindy and Mark, there's words of advice. You know, through adversity, pain, and sorrow, and the unknown, just be there. Through love, through joy, through happiness, take the time to just be there. So I guess unconditional love is what you make it, and how you incorporate that into your everyday life as an individual, as you and me. You know what? Take the time, hold each other, share and talk about your vulnerabilities. That's unconditional love, to tear away that wall and that shroud that surrounds you and tell your loved one what you feel, how you feel. Am I going to live? What are you going to do when I die? That's being vulnerable, and that's showing unconditional love by being able to express those feelings. Cindy loved a particular band in music. I forgot what it was. Bobbi will help me in a minute here. But we were at Mark's house. Well, it was Prince. She loved Prince. And Bobbi and I usually have country music on our radio. But a day after we did her funeral and her service, we were down in Mark's yard and we were talking to him. And then all of a sudden, like I said, I'm a country music fan. What was the song, Bobbi?
When Doves Cry.
When Doves Cry came blaring on our radio by Prince. And we told Mark, and
There's your sign.
it touches my heart, because we said, there's your sign. There's spirit telling you, I'm okay. You know,
She made it.
she made it. She made it to the other side. And that was spirit telling us, guess what? It'll be okay. And since then, Mark and I and Bobbi have become really close friends. Even though we weren't with Mark before, we are today. So he is going to be okay. So today I challenge each and every one of you listening. The next time when you and your spouse or your parent or your child or a friend or your partner ask you to do something, do so irregardless of yourself or how you feel. No excuses. It's too easy to say, oh, honey, not tonight. I had a hard day, or I'm too tired, or let me watch the rest of that movie, Or you could say, you know what, I have messages on Facebook or social media I have to answer. And last but not least, you know what, I got to binge watch my favorite thing on Netflix, so I'll be in about 4 or 5 hours. Or I got too much to do.
That's me.
Oh, Bobbi says, that's me. But anyway, what matters in life are the people that are in yours. So make a sacrifice for their benefit, putting your needs aside for the one you love, like Mark did for Cindy. He misses her with all his heart, but you know what? He has no regrets. Could you say that today about yourself and your partner, your lover, your friend, your child, your parent? Could you say that about yourself today if the person that you love no longer lived? You know what? Unconditional love is something this world needs more of. Unconditional love is something we need to practice more of. Sadly, but maybe not so sadly, unconditional love, when I ask people too at work, most people say, my dog practices unconditional love every day. So guess what? Let's be like our dogs. Let's show unconditional love. When your loved one comes home, give them a hug. When they're leaving, give them a kiss. You know, wag your tail a little bit or whatever the case may be. Just show them unconditional love. You know, if ever anybody is in Lilydale, there you go, Randy. That's right. Come up, look up Bobbi and I. We're on First Street right behind Lucy's. Come say hi to Bobbi and I and our 2 golden doodles and share your story with us of your unconditional love.
5 more minutes.
And with that, I pray. I pray that each and every one of you let your light shine so the universe can be a brighter and more loving place, a softer place that is filled with unconditional love for others, and most importantly, for yourself. I pray that may you all be blessed, and may Spirit's unconditional love and peace be upon each and every one of you. And I want to thank Randy and his lovely wife for inviting me to be here today. I hope my words have touched somebody's heart, made you think about changing how you may approach somebody or sacrifice yourself for somebody else, and do it humbly and do it for Spirit. And once again, I want to thank you so much, Randy, for having me be here and being a part of your church. And may you be blessed. And thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Thank you, John. You know, it's our pleasure. We're blessed to have you join us today, and Bobbi for her mediumship in a little while. It's everybody. That's something that's always close to my heart. The unconditional love and your lovely message. Thank you so much. It means it meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant a lot to everyone here, as I can tell by the looks on most people's faces today. And you're right, the dogs do provide unconditional love. There's a lot of things dogs do that we could all learn a lot from. Anyways, on to our second song of the day, which is I Love to Tell the Story. And Bill, as soon as I get the music up here, you're welcome to get started.
How can I sing after that?
Sing well.
I love to tell the story of unseen things above, of angels and their glory, of angels and their love. I love to tell the story satisfies my longings as nothing else can do. Oh, I love to tell the story. It'll be my theme and glory to tell the old story of angels and their love. I love to tell the story, more wonderful it seems than all our golden fancies, of all our golden dreams. I love to tell the story. It did so much for me, and that is now the reason I'll tell it now to thee. Oh, I love to tell the story. It'll be my theme and glory to tell the old story of angels and their love. I love to tell the story for those who know it best. It seems hungering and thirsting to hear it like the rest. And when in scenes of glory I sing a new song, it'll be the old story that I have loved so long. I love to tell the story. It'll be my theme and glory to tell the old story of angels and their love, to tell the old story of angels and their love.
Thank you, Bill. Wonderful, wonderful